Thank you for tuning into episode 245 of This Week in Real Estate, the T-Wire podcast broadcast live Wednesday, August 30th, 2023. A housing waiting game. This episode was brought to you by listeners like you. I don't have any way for you to give me any money yet, so all I'm asking you to do is just share the show. Send it to somebody in the real estate industry or an investor that you think might get some benefit out of this information. And if you're joining us live on any of the outlets like YouTube, Facebook, or anything like that, you can comment and we can display your comment, just like Olivier. He said LaMarsha's rained out. Olivier's first today. What's up, Elizabeth? Elizabeth Nightingale is here. And BLG, Mr. Mike. What's up? He's joining us. Both Olivier and Mike are also joining us on Clubhouse. So the Clubhouse, if you want to join the conversation, you can just join us there and raise your hand. Our moderators in there will make sure that you have an actual profile. We'll bring you up to add your voice to the actual show and podcast. So thanks everybody for joining us. We created this space so that you can have one place to go to find all the latest, most important real estate news and headlines with succinct, professional analysis from those of us who are active in the field. So thanks everybody for joining. We've got a ton of news articles to cover today, plus there's quite a bit happening in the industry. I don't know if some of you have saw about the NAR President resigning, so we are going to get to that. But first, Mike has a question. He said, anyone experienced their audio being gone in their reels yesterday? Mike, are you in Clubhouse now? Can you speak to this?
Yeah, so yesterday I was trying to upload this video, and every time I posted it, it would say audio unavailable, and I talked to a friend of mine who posts a ton of stuff, and he forwarded me a video from some content creator anywhere. I don't know where he was, but he was just talking about not all, but a majority of videos. It was like the music was unavailable, and it was deleting all of the audio. So the original audio wasn't there. And then some people said, oh, you can just replace the track, but that wasn't the case. And then about 2 hours later, everything seemed fine.
Interesting. This has happened once before. And so if you are a content creator, if you're doing a lot on Instagram or with Reels, one suggestion I might make is that if you want to use some trending audio, try to find the original trending audio. It's usually a person with a check mark. It usually says original audio on it. But if you're using like a popular song that somebody has just kind of imported into Instagram, that's the stuff that gets killed. And not only does it take away that audio, but it will also take away any words that you said on that as well. So if you're talking over some trending audio, it's going to remove all of that audio. So another thing is to save your reels, because when that happens, you could always just re-release the reel. I use artlist.io. That's who I use for licensing music. That's where the music comes that we play during the show, because I know that I can't get in trouble. I know that YouTube is not going to take down our podcast and Apple's not going to care. So there's a couple of resources for you. But that's happened before, Mike. That happened, I want to say it was like last year that happened. I wonder if they're just purging it.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. At first, I thought it was just going to other people's pages and seeing it elsewhere. So, yep, good advice. I'll check out that art list.
Yeah, I'll send you my affiliate link.
Perfect.
Yeah, those for watching. Those of us watching later, I'm gonna drop the affiliate link in the comment. I think it's like $20 or something. So it's big time, man. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to jump right into the headlines. The first one being that the U.S. mortgage rates will create a dire situation for the real estate market, an expert warns. So the 30-year fixed rate mortgage is around 7%. It's actually a little higher than that today. This article is on, where are we? We're on Fox Business. And they say one U.S. market expert is echoing a similar concern as some of the nation's top real estate industry leaders about the short-term future of the industry. As time goes on, people have to roll out of their 30-year loans that they have, and I think we're just going to see the effects of housing are going to be dire. It's going to take longer this time before they roll out of the 30-year mortgages. It's kind of a weird sentence the way it was structured. The Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hike campaign sent mortgage rates soaring above 7% for the first time nearly in 2 decades, cooling the post-COVID red-hot housing market. Rates have been slow to retreat, hitting a fresh 2-decade high last week Freddie Mac reported rates in the popular 30-year fixed rate hovering around 7.09%, well above the 5.13% a year ago. And the the pandemic average, 3.9%. Remember those days, everyone? Brooks Landry had a really awesome video. I'll see if I can pull it up during the show. But it was interviewing people in the, I want to say it was like early 80s, maybe late 80s. And they were talking about interest rates. And people were like, oh, yeah, 7% is so great. You know, or no, wait, it wasn't 7%. What was it? It was 15%. It was 15% being great. And people were sure that in their lifetime, they wouldn't see 12% rates again. So I think right now, people that are looking at 7 and panicking are, when they look at historic figures, are going to be in for a world of hurt when they figure out that this is actually a good rate. We've just been spoiled for 15 years of amazing rates to now be kind of back at 40-year averages. Here, I'm going to pull this up. This is a real agent, Brooks Landry. He posted this yesterday. All right. And sharing it. Okay, so this is amazing.
17.08%. That's only 6/100ths of a percentage point lower than last week.
17.08%.
Chartered banks are unlikely, as a result, to lower their prime rates. There'll be no relief from 15% and 16% mortgages either.
I think if you have to buy a house, if in the area of looking for a house, and that's what the mortgage rates are, what are you going to do?
On a $50,000 mortgage at 10%, the payment would be $447 a month. But at 15%, and that's a good rate today, the payment is $623 a month.
$50,000
mortgage. They have to buy a house and they don't pay any attention to the rate, or they buy a less expensive house.
You think people have come to accept mortgages at 15%?
Yes. I don't think people think that we'll ever see 12, 11 again, maybe even not 13. They seem to think 15 is good.
The new rate is 17.08%.
The new rate was 17.08% when that news story came out. And again, they were talking about a $50,000 mortgage being a whopping $447 at 10%. So I know home prices are also a lot more elevated, but still, this is half of what it was back in the day. Still, a lot of investors are pulling back. Oh, let me get to the comments. What's up, Ginger? Hi. Oh, you can't hear anything? Is it me? Is it the audio? Is it the audio on...
I can hear you, right? I can hear you.
Okay. Is there audio on the YouTube? Maybe one of you can check that. That'd be great.
That happened this morning in one of the rooms, and they had to go out and turn off their phone and go back. That was the only way.
That's really interesting. But that was in Clubhouse, though.
Yes.
I think the YouTubers are saying they may not be able to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, YouTube now has audio. How strange. All right. Well, thanks for monitoring that, guys. I appreciate it. Okay. So this next article is interesting, too. Last October, the percentage of investors that we began to work with skyrocketed. We've always worked with like 20 or 30% investors, but it went from 20 to 30% to 60 to 70% through October, November, December. Well, at that time, there was an article that said investors are pulling back, and we were just inundated with investors. So we didn't quite understand it, but this was also when rates hit 7% for one of the first times in 10 years, yada, yada. So we knew a lot of buyers were pulling back. When the buyers were pulling back, our investors were pushing in. And it was interesting how they were looking at the market, because they said, well, if there's less competition and less investors, then now we can buy this because we know it's going to go up over time. So there's a report from Redfin that says real estate investors pulling back, buying 45% fewer homes than a year ago. So the national year-over-year growth in investor purchases, I do want you guys to see this chart here, because it's like a huge spike in 2022, early 2022. There's a decline in 2020. And it was just kind of normal, I guess you could say. Even through the pandemic, it was up and down, pretty wild. In 2008, it was way down. 2012, it was, going up. And then it was just kind of a normal, lackadaisical investor pool until beginning of 2022, maybe ending of 2021, there was a ton of investors, huge spike in investors. Well, now that's down 45%, and it's down for several quarters in a row. The investor home purchases fell 45% from a year earlier in the second quarter, outpacing the 31% drop in overall home sales. This is the biggest decline since 2008, with the exception of a quarter. With the exception of the second quarter, with the exception of the quarter before, that's what it's trying to say, when they dropped 48%. So huge drops. Oh, you still can't see the chart. There it is. Sorry. Maybe not. Well, I was having issues with audio. Now I'm having issues showing my chart. There. All right, now you can see it. All right, so here's the chart I was telling you about for those of you on the YouTubes. So you can see a huge spike, and then boom, it's a huge decline, but yet my personal business, I'm still working with way more investors than normal. The national investor purchases did escalate in 2022, and now it's back down. Some say it's going to stay down, but you see this little bitty spike here on the graph. It has gone up a little bit recently, and that's that 7% thing. Anytime that the rates are hitting 7% for us, we're seeing a slight uptick in the number of investors that are interested in purchasing a home. And what our investors are telling us is that they're looking at homes that have been on the market longer than 30 days that haven't sold yet, and they're going hard into those properties and saying, okay, give us a good deal. And the sellers are panicked because they haven't sold in 2 hours, and they're more likely to give them a good deal. Let me stop sharing that. Okay, in dollar terms, the drop in investor purchases is almost as big. Investors bought a total of $36.4 billion worth of homes in the second quarter. That's down 42% from a year earlier. It's still above pre-pandemic levels, but dropping closer to it. Investors bought a total of $34 billion in the second quarter of 2018 and a total of $31.9 billion in the second quarter of 2019. So we're almost on pace with normal. Do any of you in Clubhouse work with a lot of investors? Are you seeing any of that? What's up, Janice? She says, oh, hi from Ohio. What's up?
You know, not necessarily like the investors, Ray, but just going back to your conversation about interest rates and buyers. So I'm Eureka in the Silicon Valley. Last week on our offer day, we had 6 properties get multiple offers. And what we're seeing more and more, because we track it also every week with our escrow officer, just for like their overall, what kind of deals came in on her desk that week. And what we're seeing is more and more people are taking loans, even at the higher rate. Whereas like a couple months ago, we were seeing cash at every level from $1 million to $20 million. So to me, to us, it was like a good thing that buyers are, getting used to the rates and coming in at those rates, and then, seeing the multiple offers. So that's my 2 cents out in the Silicon Valley. But investors, I feel like we're not really that heavy of an investor market unless it was flips. And I don't think we're seeing as many people do those because a lot of people lost money on them, that did them more recently in the last year.
Interesting. Well, and I also know there was a client that I sent you guys, and you sold a house in Silicon Valley for him for $2 million. And then he bought like 7 houses here.
Nice.
So I do think you're seeing kind of
Sunnyvale. Nice.
Yeah. So you're seeing like a reconfiguration, I guess, of where everyone is. And guys, I think I figured out the audio issue. So Brian was telling me from Facebook that it wasn't playing on there either, but I think I figured it out. So hopefully everybody can hear. And that's going to be weird if it just starts the podcast with that. You've missed a whole article, but we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll have to re-record part of it. What's up, Jill? All right. Sorry, I get distracted every now and then. I'll see the Clubhouse people. I'm like, oh, hi. Pending home sales. So pending home sales ticked up, but it's still a recent low. This is another article from Redfin. Pending sales have stabilized following months of steep declines, but homeowner demand remains below pre-pandemic levels as house hunters grapple with elevated mortgage rates, high prices, and a lack of supply. The pending sales chart they have on here is telling. It goes all the way from 2012 to today. show that for the video listeners. So we did have a spike, of course, from July. It looked like it really started to go up July 2020, all the way to, I would say, March 2022. And then it's been a steady decline. And I don't see any reprieve of this, but it's not because people don't want to buy a house. It's because there's not enough inventory. Home sales hit a bottom in 2022 and haven't meaningfully budged since, said Redfin chief economist Daryl Fairweather. Fading recession fears and the prospect of further home price increases have brought some house hunters off the sidelines, but for the most part, it remains hesitant to jump into the market because their buying power is so much lower than a year ago. And we have some stats on exactly what that buying power means, too. I believe that's the next article. I could just jump to it. Yeah. So housing market update, Homebuyer on a $3,000 budget has lost $71,000 in purchasing power since last year's mortgage rate hit a 20-year high. That's astounding. $71,000 difference. And again, another data report from Redfin. On a $3,500 payment, let's see at, it goes all the way to, let me show you this. I'll show you this chart as well. All right, so how much home can you afford as the mortgage rates change? So this chart shows the home price you can afford for a different monthly payment. Based on the mortgage rates, it assumes a 20% down, 30-year fixed, 1.25 property tax rate, 0.5% homeowners insurance. To put the disclaimers out there. So at 10%, a $3,500 payment is the same, basically, as a $3,000 payment at 8%, or a $2,500 payment at 5.9%. Wow. So the buying power of your average mortgage is way down compared to what it was. And that's also leaving some people on the sidelines because they want to buy more. They can't buy more. The home prices are still high. It's a huge issue right now with affordability. And we were talking about affordability in 2019. I can remember specifically talking about how it was a seller's market and how a lot of people were super excited that housing starts were up 13%. And we were all pumped about it. And then what happened? COVID. So we've never quite recovered from the seller's market that was happening in 2017, 18, 19. It was a little slower in 2017, but 18 and 19 were definitely seller's markets. They weren't selling in an hour like they are through the pandemic, but they were still selling in less than 30 days, terms favorable to the seller, very little concessions, multiple offers. All that was going on before the pandemic and before the shortage that we are experiencing now. And builders don't want to jump into build because they remember 2008 and 9, and they don't want to get stuck with a whole development that they're going to go belly up on. So builders since that time period have never quite increased the rate at which they were selling. When we were complaining about inventory in 2019, the inventory was at 2 million. Now it's half that. So it's still a major inventory issue that's causing an affordability issue. And I don't know that the Fed has the answer for the housing. Home price appreciation continued in June. This report came out yesterday from the National Home Builders. They're just repeating the CoreLogic Case-Shiller U.S. Home Price Index. The Dow Jones indices rose at a seasonally adjusted annual growth rate of 8.1% in June, slightly lower than the 10.2% increase in May. After 7 consecutive months of decline, home prices have increased for 5 consecutive months since February 2023. National home prices are now 65% higher than their peak during the boom of March 2006. Wow. On a year-over-year basis, the S&P has posted a 0.0% gain. So year-over-year, it's flat, following a 0.4% decrease in May and 0.1% decrease in April. So month over month, we're continuing to escalate, but when you compare now towards last year, It is flat. Flattening the curve, everyone. In June, all 20 metros reported a positive annual growth rate, ranged 3.6% to 18.9% among the 20 metro areas. 11 metro areas exceeded the national average of 8.1%. San Diego, Seattle, and New York had the highest home price appreciation in June. San Diego led the way with 18.9% increase, followed by Seattle with an 18.2% increase, and New York with a 16.4% increases. Now, those are major metros that previously had experienced home price declines. So it's interesting to see a fast revision to those numbers as it's just going right back up. Let me get to some of your comments. There you are. Audio just came up on the laptop. Good. I don't know what's happening. Mike, he said, I did the math for a client that wants to lease their single family rent. It would be about $2,900. If they were to sell, they would clear $700,000. The amount on a 10-year T-bill would yield $2,450 a month. And they don't have to worry about pets. They don't have to worry about they don't have to worry about an AC breaking down. That's a really interesting comparison, Mike. What's up from Portland? What's up, Jen? It was neat to see Jen last week too. And Eureka, I got to see Eureka last week, and Mia and Howard. It was fun. Yeah, any expenses. It doesn't count any expenses, and they can get. That's really interesting, Matt. So, are you going to sell their house? Did they say fine? We'll sell it. Get a T-bill. The problem is if they sell it and get out of the real estate market, then they don't get to take advantage of the appreciation that may happen if the rates do go down. Because if rates go down to that 5.5% range again, the last time people were waiting on a certain rate in order to buy, the home prices increased 25%. So if they get out of the real estate market and real estate does do another 25% increase, then they miss that. So that's the opportunity cost of going towards the T-bill. So the Fed has a two-part mandate. They try to keep as many people employed as possible while also preventing inflation, preventing the prices from going up, which obviously somebody messed up because it's not working like they hoped. Well, one of the things they look at are the jobs. And it's a natural recourse of increasing the rate that jobs would go down and that unemployment would increase. Well, the job opening data has revealed that the labor market is cooling. So the count of open jobs was 11 million a year ago in July 2022. The count of total job openings will continue to fall in 2023 as the labor market softens and unemployment rises. From monetary policy perspective, ideally the count of open unfilled positions slows to 8 million range in the coming months as the Fed's actions cool inflation. The economy is approaching that level according to the new data released. Now, this was happening just before the Fed announcement last time, and then we had a slight tick up in the jobs and the Fed increased rates. So, thanks, Elizabeth. Oh, wait. Were you talking to Mike or are you talking to me, Elizabeth? Mike said it was the mom's house that she passed. They both live out of town. Okay. They haven't decided yet. Elizabeth said they should sell and hire you as their agent. They don't want to deal with all those headaches and expenses. She's talking about you, Mike. So anyway, we're looking at the jobs market. If the jobs market continues to cool, then I feel like the Fed is going to back off from the rate increases, even though housing hasn't hit the target that he wants, which is a 10% correction. He wants us to go down in price. Well, even though we haven't hit that, if the labor market continues to cool, I feel like the Fed will pull back some of the policies and will let rates ride a little bit. Higher for longer is what some say. But if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a planned rate hike of a quarter point from now until the end of the year. So I might expect that in September. Even if there is a softening in the labor market, we might see that. Or they could give it a break and then drop it towards the end of the year. No, I doubt they would do that because Christmas and retail, they don't really want to mess with all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. Anyone want to make a prediction? All right, so some of us were real estate agents through the first downturn, and we saw what happened with this no-doc stated income loans, giving as many people as much money as possible to go purchase a home. Zillow is offering a 1% down payment program. And I know a lot of people initially saw this and went, oh no, here we go again. Here's how this 1% program works. And this article is from Fox Business. For now, homebuyers can take advantage of this offering in Arizona. So Zillow announced that it plans to expand the market to additional markets. The company didn't specify when they would expand. So it's only available in Arizona. The program, according to Zillow, will lower the down payment to as little as 1%, which the company says will reduce the time eligible buyers need to save for home ownership to those who are otherwise ready to take on a mortgage. Zillow said it will contribute an additional 2% at closing. In certain cases, this would make it possible for buyers to save up a down payment in under a year. For instance, Zillow noted that a buyer who makes 80% of their area's median income and saves 5% of their income would only need to save up for 11 months to afford the down payment to buy a $275,000 home in Phoenix. Olivier is right. He says, so Dusty's market will be even hotter. Yeah. Most markets are in the midst of an affordability crisis, and saving for a down payment remains one of the biggest barriers for many potential buyers, Zillow said, adding that this is especially the case for those who have been making high rent payments. Currently, the typical asking rent nationwide is up 3.6% compared with a year ago, 31% higher than the start of the pandy. The record-breaking home price appreciation, coupled with interest rates, has forced more than 60% of first-time home buyers to put down less than 20%, according to Zillow. In one quarter, the amount of first-time home buyers are putting down 5% or less. 1/4 of first-time home buyers are putting down 5% or less. They go on to say that the rapid rise in rents and home values means renters who are already paying a high monthly cost may not have enough saved up for a large down payment. All right, so how does this make you guys feel? Is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Matt LaMarche is in the house. What's up, Matt? What is this 1% rate? Is this good or bad? Go, Clubhouse.
Sounds like a great idea. I mean, less down always sounds better.
Are you being? It sounds a lot like sarcasm. Some would say, Matt.
Yeah, very sarcastic. I mean, 3 and 5 and 10 and 20% have been the norms, and I'm not one to shy away from a keen argument on why we shouldn't change things. But less than 3% seems like a really foolish idea, especially with the limited inventory that we have here in Atlanta, Georgia, at least. So should we give them more buying power with a smaller 1% interest down payment? I mean, can you afford a house if you're putting 1% down? I'm genuinely asking. That's not being sarcastic.
Well, what they're saying is they want it to go to people who can otherwise afford a home but can't afford the down payment. They will otherwise afford a home but can't afford a down payment. What does that look like? What's that buyer profile? Shouldn't you have some money in savings in order to take care of the AC or the flooring, that whatever happens type of situation? But I guess if you're using all of your down payment or all that money you've saved up on the down payment, you don't have any money anyway. So what's the difference?
That sounds like somebody that's strapped and going month to month and can't afford to save. And the moment that hard times come, somebody gets cut in hours or the house needs a major repair, then what?
Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Nightingale says, so no skin in the game, no savings, no equity. I'd be curious what the fine print of this deal is. I mean, we do have, so in Arkansas, we have rural development loans, and that's a zero down game. where they don't have to put any money down and they can purchase a home in an area that the government says they want to be more developed. So we have an entire city that you can get a rural development loan in right now that's just south of here. 0 down, pretty low on the fees. You have to qualify by being under a certain income level. And to be honest, there's whole neighborhoods where that happens, and 5 years after those neighborhoods, they become great rental markets. That's just what's happening here locally, because a lot of people don't want to buy there. Jen, what's up? I see you joined on Clubhouse. You want to come up? If you want to come up, I can maybe lift you up. Oh, you're already up here. What's up?
I was just having FOMO. I just wanted to be here.
No comment on the 1% loan?
I'm doing one with somebody right now. Well, they have a very low down payment, and they're the type of kids who this will work for.
Okay, so define that person for us. That's kind of what we're asking. Like, what is the type of person that this is ideal for? Who they're ready for a home. The only thing they're missing is the down payment, and this is good for.
Really great credit scores, really good jobs, great rental history. Just, for lack of a better word, just with it. Certainly more with it than I was when I was, 25.
Yeah, tell me about it.
They're probably in the minority, but for them it's terrific because they were paying a horrible rent, and we found them a super cute house at a great deal in a really good up and coming neighborhood of Portland. So in 5 years they're going to be really set, but I don't know if that's everybody's case.
But Jen, the rates are 7%. Shouldn't they wait for the rates to go down?
Well, it's going to be a bloodbath. So actually, I
thank you for that shout out.
I told you, if you use the word bloodbath at an open house, people's eyes just go insane. And I use that with these kids. So, and we met on a Sunday at an open house. We were in contract by Wednesday, and we're closing in 2 weeks. So, bloodbath.
Well, there you go.
Worked.
What she's referring to is a reel that I did that it did pretty good. It's got 2.6 million views now on that thing, by the way. And there's still so many terrible comments on it. I mean, really bad. If you want your brain to explode, go check out my profile, Ray Zorback, RAYZORBACK. Look for the one with 2.6 million views and just filter through some comments. You'll have a good time. I've also trolled back on a lot of them, which I personally enjoy. So I've had a good time with some of them.
Your trolling is brilliant. I love it. It took me a while to figure out that was you trolling, but
yeah. Thank you very much. I take pride in the trollbacks.
Ray, I don't want to stir the pot even more, but what are we going to do when these buyers have to pay, let's just say, 2.5%, 3.5% commission?
Yeah, good point. Because right now we're looking at trying to do the 1% down payment, but when the National Association of Realtors gets in trouble with the DOJ and they suddenly have to take off, they suddenly have to disallow the seller from paying a buyer's agent fee, then those people are going to have another additional 3% in fees. So maybe this is the perfect preparation for that, Matt. Maybe from now on it'll be 1% down payments and we all get paid, right? No, that's not going to happen either. Well, NAR is in some hot water anyway, which we'll get to in just a second. So we are going to talk about the NAR story. What's up, Scap? I want to get into this article. It was on Realtor and also Broke Agent Media talked about it. America's 10 hottest zip codes for homebuyers. This report comes to us from Realtor.com, a little website we used to own back in the day. I'm just going to get straight to the list because I think that's the most interesting part. So number one on the list, and if you are listening to the show and you're in one of these zip codes, definitely drop it in the comments. Let us know. Go nuts. 4323. That's Gahanna, Ohio. It's a metro out of Columbus, Ohio. I don't know where Gahanna. I've never heard of Gahanna. The median list price for a home there is $351,000. So it's a good opportunity for some home buyers. Gahanna's location is another draw because it's not far from the Intel chip manufacturing mega site going on in Columbus. There are a lot of investors that call us that say, we were interested in Columbus, but it got priced out. And we're looking at Arkansas and Birmingham, Alabama. And that's common for them to talk about this area. All right, number 2 on the list, 06489. That's Southington, Connecticut. It's a metro of Hartford. Most of the homes in the zip are a mix of Cape Cods, colonials, ranches, split levels, and the median list price is $368,000. So we're seeing a lot of affordability. 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom condo for $190,000 in that zip code. All right, number 3 on the list, 07450. Ridgewood, New Jersey, metro of New York City, New York. They show this little cute house, little cute blue house with some columns, nice little yard. The median list price is $1.18 million. That's quite the jump from little Southington, Connecticut to Ridgewood, New Jersey. What's up, Christina? What's up? What's up? And you're welcome. Thank you for sending your client to me. We'll get them hooked up. 1.184 million there. All right, number 4, 01810. Andover, MA. It's a metro out of Boston. $992,000 is the median list price there. I thought we were going to see a whole bunch of affordability, like 300, 300, 400, 400, 500. And I guess maybe this is affordable in some context, but 1.1 million and 992,000 were the last two. Number 5 was 18064. That's Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Allentown is what it's near. It's 429,000. So again, that's a little more affordable. Number 6, 46322. 46322. Highland, Indiana. That's a metro out of Illinois, Chicago, Illinois. So it's known as the Highlands in the 19th century when it was mostly swampland. Today, Highland sits near the Indiana-Illinois border with 30 miles east of Chicago. $268,000 median list price. That's the most affordable one yet. I didn't realize it was that close to Chicago. For $268,000, that's pretty good. All right, next up, 48183. Trenton, Michigan. That's right out of Detroit. $238,000 list price there. All right, the next 3, 06851, Norwalk, Connecticut, $596,000. The next one is, this is the 9th one, 14534. That's in Pittsford, New York. It's outside of Rochester, New York. $595,000. That's pretty affordable for New York, I feel like. Homes are significantly more expensive than in Rochester proper, which has a roughly $170,000 median price tag. Wow. Number 10, it's the last one. Baldwin, Missouri, 63021. It's outside of St. Louis Metro. The list price is $353,000. It's a good value, they say. So there it is. The top 10, America's hottest 10 zip codes is what they're saying for home buyers in 2023. It's real mixed. I mean, honestly, I thought it was going to be everything under 500,000 because people are so flooded, going towards affordability. But in reality, some of those major metros still had the 1.1 million and the 992,000. So there's still some pretty expensive ones there. Christina said, can we see what you're looking at? Yes. Yeah. Sorry. That's so funny. When I'm running the show by myself without guests, it's difficult because sometimes I think I'm displaying and I'm not displaying, but I can't look at myself not displaying it at the same time. So here's the article from Realtor. We cracked the code, see America's 10 hottest zip codes. Here's some of the pictures I thought you guys were looking at with me. It's really terrible. Did that whole section. I'll just have to edit. So some real pretty houses. The one in Nazareth, PA is pretty big for $429,000. And then Detroit. So there you go. There's a couple other photos. The rest don't have photos. This one's my favorite, but it's 1.18 million average. Thanks, Christina, for letting me know. She said $500K is not affordable for most first-time home buyers. I would agree with that. But I guess if you're in a metro area where everything's $1 million, suddenly $500K seems pretty good. Seems like that's affordable.
You know, a lot of new doctors, they have a zero down, interest. So that's the ones that really don't have the down payments, but they're a good risk.
That's true, and they are buying the homes that are a little bit bigger too. Okay, so let's talk some NAR TEA. Kenny Parcell resigns after New York Times expose. Now, I'm a bit mixed on this. BAM, the broke agent media folks, went after this guy pretty hard, saying we deserve better. The reason why is because of sexual misconduct that he's been accused of. Let me share this with you guys as well. Now, keep in mind, he's only been accused of it. It hasn't been proven yet or anything. So we do live in a country that gives people the benefit of the doubt, and they're innocent until proven guilty. But, if you're enthralled in this kind of stuff in the position you're in, it could be where there's smoke, there's fire type situation. The majority of the claims focused on Parcell, who allegedly invited female employees to late night meetings, sent inappropriate pictures, they say in the thing of his crotch, sexually suggestive comments. Bavard dropped the suit in June and received a settlement of $107,000, according to the New York Times. Bob Goldberg, who's getting paid $2.5 million a year. People should be reaching out to him. So there's an executive committee and board of directors. This letter serves as my resignation of the president of the National Association of Realtors. Comes after a series of accusations against me that are categorically false. I'm deeply troubled by those looking to tarnish my character and mischaracterize my well-intended actions. Putting the organization and brand first comes with the title of president. Leadership is not about making tough choices. This resignation signifies that. Putting the NAR's needs above his own. I don't know. I'm glad he's resigning, but I think it probably should have happened a lot sooner. When the first accusations started flying around and you settle out of court, that's probably a good time to resign. But in his stead, Tracy Kasper, Kasper. Oh my gosh. It's been a day. Last week was really fun at Tom Ferry and stuff, but I got back into the office, and suddenly on Monday, I've just been covered up. Monday, Tuesday, I really haven't had time to think properly. So I apologize for the misstep there. Tracy Kasper, Kasper. Here's her picture. Completely different person. She emerges as the president of a fractured NAR amid the mild dissent. That's interesting that they called it mild dissent. I feel like the dissent is pretty major because you have news media outlets calling for people to call the NAR and let your voice be heard. And it's not just about this Kenny thing. It's about 2-3 weeks ago when the numbers came out with the CEO of NAR making $2.5 million a year, and then past presidents still getting paid. And it's just, there's a lot. There's some marketing companies getting $45, $47 million, $50 million. And we're all asking, doing what? What are they doing? That seems like it's, my friend owns a marketing company. Let's support them. So 2 hours after the formal National Association of Realtors president Kenny Parcell resigned amid the firestorm of allegations outlined in the New York Times, NAR announced the crowning of a new leader, 2023 president-elect Tracy Kasper. Her term was scheduled to begin in November during NAR's NXT conference in Anaheim, but Parcell's swift exit forced NAR leadership to vault Kasper into the presidency chair immediately 3 months earlier. Christina says, but our dues pay for so much good. What? I mean, what really? Matt Lamarche chiming in, ethics, moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity. Mm-hmm. We recognize there's lots of concern, anger, and disappointment, and we want to acknowledge the people who have come forward and shared their stories. In the last few days, we've taken everything to heart. Our commitment to our staff members is unwavering. She promised to begin the work of overturning NAR's culture and creating an environment where employees and members can freely report allegations. Okay, I mean, I think that's good. Like, nobody's going to come out and say, "Well, good. I don't want you to make it easier to report." But I think there's a lot of bigger issues at NAR, or there's a lot of issues that are just as big at NAR. Some being that we don't know what some of these people that are getting paid millions of dollars of our money are doing for us. I think that is a huge issue in itself. And I made a comment on the BAM post where they talked about this, and I think Byron said we can do better. Like, yeah, but I mean, a lot of us would settle for a national MLS and a compensation cut by about 75% of everybody at the top. And I think if that happened, it'd make a lot of people very happy with NAR. But they haven't done anything like that. They haven't even come close to that. And instead, we don't know what these marketing firms, why are they giving them $50 million? I feel like I could do better. I mean, give me $1 million and let me see if I can do better than that marketing company with $50 million. I guarantee it. But so there's a lot of mishandling of funds that we're paying them every single year. And I think a lot of realtors are just fed up. So I say they're fed up, but I guarantee they're going to pay their dues this next year. And we'll see what happens. And the tour around the country. Yeah, y'all remember riding with the brand? And the tour around the country to explain to the public the difference of real estate agent and realtor. That did nothing. Riding with the brand. What a waste of money and time. Are any other thoughts on that from the Clubhouse folk?
I just recently saw that broke agent when they exposed all the fees, and I was shocked, for sure. This is Eureka from Silicon Valley. I couldn't believe, they're getting paid more than some of the executives of these, top companies in our area. So, yeah, and I had no idea what they do. But what you just said, like, you'd be happy with the national, MLS. Yeah, I'd be really happy with that too. Like, how awesome would that be? For, catapulting our market, especially for investors. But anyways, I'm with you, Ray. And I also think that you would do better on $1 million.
Yeah, I don't need any kind of official position or anything. Give me $1 million and watch what I could put together for actual realtors who do our job. Yeah, we definitely need better. I'm looking for the Broke Agent Media post where it highlighted this. They've got several funny memes and all kinds of stuff that they've been putting out too, kind of half related to it. There it is. How much is NAR paying executives and independent contractors? Let me share this. We covered this whenever it came out, but I think it's worthy of another look since all the news that's happening. Bob Goldberg planning to retire at the end of 2024. The National Association of Realtors is shopping for its next CEO, which, I'll throw my hat in the ring for $2.5 million. And for many of us, that raises questions. How much should a NAR CEO earn? How much do they spend in member dues? And how much of that goes to the people executive level? And they have links for all the NAR expenses for the fiscal year through 2021. And then they broke it down for towards the end of December, the year ending December 2021. Christina says, throw your hat in. They would not, I would not do well in politics. They do not like people that just tell it like it is. $2.5 million, Mr. Goldberg, CEO. The SVP, Strategic Business Innovation and Technology, which what's the innovation in business technology that we've had this year? Does anyone know? Can anyone say? $958,000 is what that guy's getting paid. Government affairs, well, there's been, this person's overworked and underpaid, judging by who's north of Shannon. $960,000 to deal with the DOJ and all that stuff and all the lawsuits. Surely. Katie Johnson, General Counsel and Chief Member Experience Officer. So I hope everyone's member experience has been improved for $912,000. Lawrence Yoon, he's only getting $700,000. Chief Economist. I say only. That's a lot, but compared to these other folks, Lawrence has more of a presence on everything else that we do. John Pierpoint, Chief Financial Officer, $682,000. Victoria Gillespie, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer, $587,000, which I don't even know what the marketing and communication has been over this last year. Anyway, it goes on down. But check this out. The president, the one who is so enthralled in everything that's going on, is the second highest paid person, or second lowest paid person. Kenny Parcell, first vice president, $165,000 in 2021. Now they went up to probably president. Was it president-elect or president? And so he's probably in the $300,000 category this year. But in 2021, as he was coming up, $165,000. Leslie Rhoda Smith, president-elect at the time, was $251,000. Christina says, Lawrence, for NAR president, he does more to get the word out. Yes, he's very articulate. Elizabeth says, Ray for president. $2.5 million. Guys, I have to tell you, though, to be honest, if I am elected president of NAR, I'm not dropping my pay. I'll drop the pay the next year. We'll put a plan in place for all future presidents, but no way. I'm taking that $2.5 million for sure. But don't we love Trump? They're doing such a great job at NAR standing up for buyer's agents. Yeah, not so much. So I think there's all of that to say, there's a big problem with NAR. Not only the Kenny Parcell debacle, but just in what is going on, how much money is there, how much money is being wasted, it seems like, and then what agents are going to do about it. Because so far, honestly, agents haven't done anything about it. We didn't even get into the Havas marketing group that's getting paid $46 million. Lone Wolf Technologies, $8.1 million. I think Lone Wolf Technologies, aren't they behind the NAR RPR? That is one tool that I do like that they did. I'm going to go to the bottom of the page here and see who's behind this. It just says Realtors Property Resource. It doesn't say Lone Wolf. But whoever did that, that's something that I use all the time. It's a great tool that I use in business. I use it for comparative market analysis. It pulls tons of data for me. So good job on that. Projection Presentation Technology, the video production services, $4.5 million. Legal counsel, 2.59. So $2.6 million in legal counsel. I bet that bill's higher this year. And Cobalt Media Group is a marketing consultant, $2.5 million. I'm telling you, if they pay me $1 million as a marketing consultant, I think we can go a long way. Christina says, what would happen if we all quit paying dues? What's the negative? So in some markets like mine, if you don't pay the dues, you can't be a member of the board. If you're not a member of the board, you don't have access to the MLS. If you don't have access to the MLS, what are you going to show? So the problem now NAR in the DOJ agreement, they have an agreement that says you have to allow other people who are not members of Realtor NAR to show homes. So now there has to be something on all of our lot boxes that allows just a real estate agent who's not a member of NAR to show the property, but they still don't have to have access to the MLS and the data if you have an MLS locally that's tied into the NAR as a board. So that's a big problem in itself. So it's a carrot over your nose. Yeah. If you want to work as a real estate agent, if you want to show property, then you're going to have to be a member of the board and the National Association of Realtors so that you can get access to the MLS so that you can work as a real estate agent and show property. So there's got to be some stuff that changes. All right, any other comments on that? Okay, cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining us this week. I am Ray. You guys can find me at Ray Zorback, RayZorback. We're going to get some guests lined up for next show. It's several shows from now. We have some guests coming on, so I'm super excited about that. And I will be in California speaking about artificial intelligence. So the California Association of Realtors CAR. I'll be out there September 19th. So be sure you go to that, get your tickets, let me know you're going so that we can connect while I'm there. And if you have any questions specific to AI, shoot them to me so I can be sure to cover that. Christina says I sound very smoothing today. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate you guys watching the show. Connect with me on Instagram. That's Ray Zorback, RayZorback. And I think I'm going to go re-record the first 2 articles of this so that our audio listeners get the full experience. So apologies to the YouTube and Facebook. I figured out the problem, so we won't let it happen next time. But thank you guys for joining us, and I will see y'all next week.